Hello, everyone. I'm Joel McKelvey, part of the Looker team here at Google Cloud, and I'm going to be your host and moderator for today's presentation. With me today, we also have a couple of my colleagues, Adam Wilson, Ariel Strong, and Steve Mahoney from our product team. And we're going to talk about a pretty exciting announcement. On August 6, 2020, Looker announced the release of some top requested enhancements for system administrators, data analysts, and decision makers, plus some significant steps forward for application builders. And that's what we're going to talk about today. In this webinar, we're going to discuss how these improvements help your business make smarter use of data and to drive positive business outcomes. Now, before we start digging in, and we're just about to start, I want to go over a few quick housekeeping tips with you before we get started. First, we'll have a 15-minute Q&A session at the end of the presentation. So if you have a question to ask our presenters, please type your question into the Q&A box and click send. We'll do our best to answer all the questions that you enter over the course of the presentation at the end of the presentation. And this presentation is being recorded, so we'll be able to send out that recording after it's over. The windows you see in the user interface that you're using are all customizable, meaning you can minimize them or maximize them or move them around the screen in the way that makes the most sense for you. If you accidentally minimize or close a window for any reason, don't worry about it. Just click on the toolbar menu on the bottom of your screen and you can bring it back up. So with that, let's get started and talk about the new features and enhancements in Looker. We're talking about enhancements that build on the vision that Looker laid out last year around data experiences. And really what we have found in talking with you, with our customers, with industry analysts, is that to get the most value out of the data we collect as businesses, we need to go beyond traditional business intelligence, more than just reports and dashboards, and we need to infuse data into every part of the business, into operational workflows. Solutions that are going to help people use data more than just analyze data, but really solutions that help people experience data, closing the gap between insights and actions. We see a lot of focus on development of insights and analysis, but Looker wants to take it that next step, taking insights to action and letting you make a difference with business. Looker 7 and Looker is this enterprise platform that delivers those types of data-driven experiences. We're talking integrations right into workflows, custom applications, embedded analytics, and even modern BI, better reports, dashboards, and data exploration than you've ever seen before. And all these come together to empower business users, to empower data analysts, to empower application developers, to put data in the hands of the people who need it, when and where it is needed. The enhancements we're going to talk about today are enhancements to the core Looker platform. But obviously now, as a part of Google Cloud, we're able to do a lot more. And we'll talk about some of the things we're doing with the larger Google Cloud organization to make your life easier as analysts towards the end of this session as well. The three areas of Looker improvement we'll be talking about today are around performance, scale, and efficiency. We'll be talking about speeding that access to insights so people can take action faster. And then we'll talk about some really powerful new ways to put data experiences in the hands of users. And with those three big areas to discuss, I would like to hand over now to Adam Wilson to talk about efficiency, scale, and performance. Take it away, Adam.
Thanks, Joel, for the introduction. My name is Adam Wilson, and I'm a product management leader at Looker, responsible for our foundation and model development teams. Today, I'm going to talk to you about how Looker gives you a high-performance, scalable, and efficient platform for delivering analytical solutions inside your organization and out. I'm going to start by focusing on some major enhancements we've made around performance. The first is a feature called aggregate awareness. It's common in many organizations that you'll answer lots of different kinds of questions atop the same data. And in many cases, organizations will pre-compute aggregates at a high level to make some of the more common questions easier to answer. But this creates challenges because users need to know which table with which level of aggregation they need to go to get an answer to a question. Aggregate awareness solves this by dynamically taking a question that a user is trying to ask and routing that to a different table depending upon the level of granularity required to answer the question. So, for example, if someone says, "Can I see sales by month over the last year?" we know that the aggregated table that has monthly values for sales can be used in purple there. Whereas if someone asks a very detailed question, for example, which product was sold the most in Houston in the last month, we can route that to the raw sales data. And this happens all automatically. So a user using Looker just creates the question they want, and we automatically choose the most optimal table to answer the question. This is also fully managed in LookML. So you can build these aggregate tables without having to write new ETL logic that transforms data. Looker takes care of all of that for you. So again, this helps to improve query performance. It can also reduce cost by using these more simple aggregate tables rather than scanning all of your underlying sales data. And it's simple for end users. It's the same exploration and dashboard experiences they're used to. So aggregate awareness is a big feature to help with performance. But we're also innovating with a number of smaller improvements that also help you to improve performance of your Looker instance. We've recently released faster data downloads that can provide up to 100x improvements in speeds for large exports. Another important feature is something called parallel PDTs. And if you use PDTs to pre-aggregate data to be used inside your Looker instance, this will be especially valuable to you. Now you can execute multiple PDTs in parallel so that we're not doing them one at a time. And this lets you reduce the amount of time it takes for all of your PDTs to be built, giving users faster access to their most recent data. Finally, we've also added connection pooling, which reduces the query latency by using already established JDBC connections when a user runs a query, for example, from an Explorer dashboard. This can help you to see performance improvements of up to 1 second when using connection pooling. So those are a set of enhancements around performance. I want to switch gears and talk about how Looker makes it easier to manage your system at scale with 3 new features we've released. First is enhancements to system activity that we call Elite System Activity. The second is new capabilities to take advantage of groups and group membership that you've defined out of Looker. And the third are enhancements to the groups list and edit pages to make it easier to manage group membership. Let's look at each of these. Many of you are familiar with system activity today in Looker. It gives you an at-a-glance view of what's happening inside of your instance, what users are accessing what content, what the performance is like, a whole bunch of things that let you get a bird's eye view of your usage of Looker and then dive down into the details to take diagnostics or improve situations. In talking to many of our customers, we've heard several challenges with the existing system activity performance that we've improved with Elite System Activity. One is around the performance of the actual system activity queries. These can be very large queries because in large Looker deployments, you can have thousands of users and millions of queries being executed. So what we've done is we've introduced a new store for the system activity data that's separate from your Looker database. This offloads the processing of queries that you're used for system activity and gives you faster performance and isolation from your existing Looker use cases. As part of this, we've also used this new store as a way of increasing the data retention for system activity. Instead of the 90 days of system activity retention that we've had before, with Elite System Activity, we retain data for 1 year. This allows you to do more detailed trending analysis. So, for example, looking at how usage has changed over time that can help with forecasting or identifying content that could be removed that hasn't been used in a very long time. All of these new capabilities are included in the Elite tier. So if you're an Elite tier customer, you can work with your account manager to enable the new Elite System Activity. Another capability that we've released is called mirror groups. This allows you to take groups that you've already defined in your identity system outside of Looker and use those to control permissions to what happens inside of Looker. This happens using SAML attributes. So these are attributes that are sent along when your users authenticate and then are moved into Looker. This reduces the management burden for Looker administrators because no longer do you have to manage group membership both inside of Looker and in other systems. You can just define it in your central group management system, and Looker takes advantage of that. Along with this, we have enhanced our group list and edit pages to make it easier to manage groups and group membership that have many, many members. So a few screenshots of that below. I want to switch gears now and talk about some of our advancements that we've made in modeling. Uh, Modeling is core to what makes Looker a scalable system. And so we've been investing in making the life of a modeler much easier based on feedback from many of the modeling users that use Looker on a day-to-day basis. On the right-hand side, you'll see a screenshot of our new modeling integrated development environment that takes into account much of this feedback. We've introduced a new left-hand navigation that lets you find your files easily, a new object browser, which I'll talk about in a second, quick access to Git actions and settings. We've also moved important things like errors to the right-hand side so that you can iterate through them quickly without them being confined to a very small text box as they were before. This is the result of a lot of usability testing that we've done with users, and we're really proud of the early feedback we've gotten on improvements based on it. One particular part of the new modeling IDE is that object browser I was talking about. And here's a screenshot of it here. Instead of organizing all of your Looker model elements by the file that they're in, the object browser organizes them based on the role they play in your project. So here you can see all of the different objects, the different views and the explorers and the fields that are contained within them. So it makes it much easier for you to move between different elements of your model without having to remember exactly what file they came from. So that was a brief overview of what we've done to improve the performance of Looker, to allow you to manage it at scale with new groups and permissions, and also enhancements to the modeling IDE that make it much easier for modelers to do their day-to-day tasks with efficiency. Thanks. Now I'll pass it over to Ariel, who will cover some of our new advancements in BI.
Thanks, Adam. Hey, everybody. I'm Ariel, product manager for Looker's BI product. And this year, we've been focusing on simplifying access to insights for all types of users in your organization. And I'm excited to share some of the advancements that we've made. Earlier this year, we introduced a brand new dashboard experience. And over the past few months, we've been continuing to expand upon what you can do with dashboards in Looker. We've given creators new tools such as filter controls so that they can design the right experience for their use cases and the type of user that's going to be using it. And we recently introduced a new feature called cross-filtering, where users can rapidly ask questions by interacting directly with the charts themselves. This allows them to really quickly slice and dice data, get to the bottom or the root of what's happening in their business, all without having to pre-set up filters on the dashboard. And the great thing about cross-filtering in Looker is that it's built on the same great in-database architecture that we offer everywhere else in the product, which means that you're not limited to just a small extract of data or having to manage an extract just to support that dashboard. You can actually quickly interact on any size data set, even if that's in the petabytes. But we do know that dashboards are just the starting point for many people. In fact, at Looker, we believe that the best way to build a data culture is to actually meet people and meet your users where they are and make data a part of their existing workflows. And so we've introduced new options with our Slack integration to make it really simple to share dashboards and other Looker content directly in those products that your teams are using. With simple link unfurling, you never have to even leave Slack to get the answers you need. You can carry on directly with that conversation and share all sorts of information with your team. And something that we're working on right now that would be coming in the future is a natural language like interface where you'll be able to ask questions directly in Slack and get that answer back in Looker. And lastly, with Looker alerts, you can proactively stay on top of changes in your business. They're really simple to set up. They're optimized for those that are closest to the business decisions. So that might mean your marketing team wants to monitor performance of their ad campaigns. Maybe your customer success team wants to get proactively notified if a customer is about to churn. That way they can reach out and help them before that happens. Or maybe it's your product team wants to monitor or keep track of some of the latest features they've released. Or they might even want to just monitor the website and make sure nothing funky is happening in terms of volume that might alert to an issue. And you can do all of those things with Looker alerts. And now you're going to be able to get those notifications sent to new places, such as Slack, so that everybody in your team can stay on top of what's happening within your business. And with that, I'll pass it over to Steve to talk about new tools we have for building data experiences.
Thanks so much, Ariel. My name is Steve Mahoney, and I'm a product manager here at Looker here at GCP. I'm really excited to be able to talk to you about some of the recent releases we've had and how we're making it even faster and easier to deliver entirely new data experiences. Looker's goal has always been to empower all users within an organization, from business users to analysts and even folks entirely outside of the org. We all need data to be more effective at our jobs. But it's not that every question we want to ask or every action that we want to take is solved in a BI dashboard. Sometimes you might need a custom workflow, or as you saw earlier, sometimes you want the data to just be brought directly to you in Slack. And Looker is a platform that delivers tools that makes this much easier. We've enabled many different kinds of experiences for customers over the years to be built using a variety of different tools. And recently, we've had a few releases that makes this even easier and faster. One of the most exciting new enhancements is Looker's new extension framework. It's a powerful new development framework that allows developers to deploy JS applications right on top of the Looker platform. No need for DevOps or infrastructure to host the experience. And your application can take full advantage of the power of Looker, such as APIs and SDKs, UI components for building the experience, as well as user permissions and authentication. We've already seen some incredible things being built by our customers and partners, and they've shared some really positive feedback so far. We're excited to be opening up the extension framework to you to see what you build next. Speaking of the extension framework, we're not going to let our customers and partners be the only ones who get to have all the fun. We're taking full advantage of it ourselves. And the first extension that we've built is our data dictionary, one of many to come. The data dictionary allows you to browse and search through your LookML models for missing descriptions or metadata. It also enables you to preview some of the top values directly from your data warehouse for selected fields. And just like all of our extensions, you can embed it in an external portal or application, the same as a dashboard or an Explorer. The data dictionary is now generally available, and we've had some great feedback so far. Look out for future releases as we update and continue to iterate on it. You can find the data dictionary and our future extensions within the Looker Marketplace. The Looker Marketplace was released in open beta earlier this year, and we've seen some tremendous engagement. Over 1,300 customers have quickly and effortlessly deployed custom visualizations, Looker blocks for data sources and analysis, and of course, the data dictionary. The Looker Marketplace is the repository that brings all of this content together to accelerate your path to getting value from your data and from Looker quickly and with less work. And speaking of Looker blocks, we've recently announced a new set of solutions that brings the power of BigQuery ML models to life for marketers in a matter of minutes. These analytics products are operational out of the box, many with ML models and actions built in for Google Marketing Platform and Google Ads. And with that, I'm going to hand the mic back to Joel, who's going to wrap things up.
Thank you, Steve. And also thank you, Ariel and Adam. I really appreciate it. Now, just to wrap up this session, I want to remind you all about why Looker is so innovative as a platform itself. And that is because we have this strong in-database architecture that gives you the access to the real-time data you need, built on the cloud of your choice and the database of your choice. You can build on top of that with Looker's robust semantic modeling layer, so you can define standard business logic across your whole business, have robust data permissions, and it's all Git integrated with version control via our new IDE. And we're cloud native, right? API first and cloud native that gives you all the flexibility you need. So thank you very much for listening to our discussion of Looker today. And we really appreciate your time. And now what we're going to do is go into the question section I mentioned earlier and answer a few questions. Just a quick reminder to enter in any questions you have into the Q&A section on your screen. And with that, I have a couple of questions here that look like they make sense for Adam. Let me read them off to you, Adam, so that you can answer here. The first one is, does aggregate awareness help improve performance for my dashboards, or is it just for explorers that the users interact with themselves? Adam?
Aggregate awareness helps with all queries that are being executed through Looker. And this is great because it means that, yes, it can improve the performance of your dashboards too. If you have dashboards that are currently running against explorers that go against the raw data, if you implement aggregate awareness and have a single explorer that uses both the raw data and the higher level data, then the aggregate awareness system will automatically choose the most performant um, table to execute the query with. So your dashboards can get faster as well.
Looks like we have a here for Steve. How do I make my work available in the marketplace? Is there a good place to start?
Thanks, Joel. Thanks, Joel. So yeah, we have many partners who have built content for the marketplace, such as custom visualizations and Looker blocks. We have a program in place that defines necessary guidelines and restrictions for deploying this content. And if partners want to continue to do that, they're welcome to. For extensions, however, it's a little bit different. If you just want to build an extension for yourself and your organization, or you're a partner looking to build a custom extension for an individual customer, then you can just deploy that directly. You don't have to worry about the marketplace. However, if you want to make the extension generally available, we're going to be deploying a program that allows us to review the extension and look at it to make sure that it meets a few of our guidelines and restrictions as well. I would look forward for more information about that as we get closer to our generally available release.
All right, looks like we have a question here for Ariel. Ariel, new dashboards look great. Is there a way I can tell which dashboards are getting the most attention from my users? I think they're probably asking, how can I tell if my dashboards are working and doing what I want them to do?
Yeah, great question, Joel. And the answer is yes, absolutely. With Looker's system activity dashboards, which are built right into the admin section of Looker, you're able to see which content is most used and by whom, and even which fields are most used. And that's super helpful. So you can optimize that content. You can get rid of old content that you might not care about. And you can even set alerts on it. So you don't even have to go and look at those system activity dashboards. You can, again, get real-time monitoring on that information.
All right, we have another question for Adam here. If I use iLooker today to understand what's happening in my Looker instance, should I look at moving to system activity or elite system activity instead?
Absolutely. We designed system activity to be a replacement for many of the patterns that you would have used iLooker for before. There are a few things we're still working on adding to system activity, for example, around SQL query text, but for the majority of use cases, system activity should give you the answers to the same kind of questions you were looking for with iLooker, with higher performance and with more consistency when you're using elite system activity.
Here's another question for Ariel. Is there a performance implication of scheduling a lot of alerts?
So alerts work just like any other piece of content or query in Looker. We run queries to your database so that we're getting the most up-to-date information and that it's not stale. You are, however, in control of how frequently you want those alerts or those queries to be run. It depends typically on the urgency of the business need. Some alerts, customers want them to run much more near real time if it's for a monitoring case, and some they can do on a less frequent basis. If it's more business, you just want to know, when something's going to happen within that week or within that month. Our default, however, is to run alerts once an hour, but again, is easily changeable.
Looks like we have another question here that might be good for Adam. Adam, I recently saw folders were added to the IDE. How is this newly redesigned IDE related to that?
As part of migrating to the new IDE, you'll find that the folders feature is turned on for you automatically, even if you hadn't turned it on yourself. This gives you the benefit of the updated look and feel while also letting you organize content in a way that makes sense for your project.
Here's a question for Steve. Beyond the Google marketing blocks, are there further integrations planned for Looker and Google?
Thanks, Joel. I'll take that one. So it is Google policy that we do not talk about future products. However, I can say that Looker and the GCP teams are always looking for opportunities to work together and build solutions that bring the power of the Looker platform together with other GCP technology and innovations. I would just stay tuned for some of our announcements that are coming up forward.
A question here for Ariel. Ariel, do we need to pay to use the Slack integration, or is it included in our current Looker license?
And no, the Slack integration is included in your Looker license, so you don't need to pay anything outside of your normal Looker platform fees in order to use the Slack integration. And it's super easy to set up. It's a one-click install just in the admin section, so definitely would encourage everybody to try that out.
Okay, a Steve question. Is there a different licensing model for the extension framework?
I'll take this one as well, Joel. Thanks. While in beta, there's really no fees that we're going to be incorporating for developing or experimenting with the extension framework. However, I will say that that will change in the future, and we'll absolutely let folks know about that and what the structure looks like and things. As for extensions, though, extensions that are downloaded from the marketplace, those are planned to be licensed on a per application or per extension basis, and some will be completely free. For example, the data dictionary is currently free, and there will be plenty that will be just like that. The philosophy here is really trying to understand how we deliver value to our customers. And we really want people to be able to take advantage of these things and not focus so much on how we price them out.
All right, well, it looks like we're out of time for questions, but thank you to everyone who asked one. And I just want to remind you that we have some resources here that you can visit, learn more about Looker and more about the new features that are available in Looker to help your business make smarter use of data. We've got some links to our blog, some upcoming events of particular interest, and then you can always request a demo if you'd like to see how Looker works for you in person. Thanks again for attending, and we hope to see you in our next sessions.